on, let's be real for a second. Most guys are completely clueless when it comes to reading women's signals, and honestly, it's not entirely their fault. Nobody ever sat you down and explained the psychology of desire in a way that actually makes sense in real life. You probably grew up thinking attraction was obvious, like she just woke up and tell you a stereotype that she's into you. But that's not how the female mind works, and that gap between what you expect and what actually happens is actually why so many men miss the signs completely. Women communicate desire and layers, some verbal, most non-verbal, and if you don't know what you're looking for, you'll walk right past an open door thinking it's a wall. This video is gonna change the way you see every interaction you've ever had with a woman, and more importantly, it's gonna give you a real psychological framework you can actually use starting today, not someday, not when you get better with women, but literally in your next conversation. So if you've ever looked back on a situation and thought, wait, was she into me this whole time? Yeah, she probably was. Keep watching because what we're breaking down today is the kind of stuff that makes men say, I wish I knew this years ago. To the science behind female desire, here's something most people don't know. Female desire is almost never linear. It doesn't work the way male attraction does, where you see someone attractive and you immediately know you're interested. For women, desire tends to build over time through emotional cues, safety signals, and subtle testing, and it's deeply rooted in psychology. Research in evolutionary psychology shows that women are wired to be more selective and more covert about their attraction because historically showing desire to openly carried a social risk. That the instinct ain't gone away. It's still very much present in modern dating. So when a woman is attracted to you, her brain doesn't send a signal that says, go tell him. It sends a signal that says, stay close, create moments, test the connection. That's why her signs look nothing like what you'd expect. She's not gonna blurt it out. She's gonna create proximity. She's gonna linger in conversations longer than necessary. She's gonna find small ways to keep the interaction alive. Understanding this biological and psychological backdrop is the foundation of everything we're gonna talk about in this video, and once you internalize it, you'll start seeing women's behavior in a completely different light. 3. The proximity signal. One of the most powerful and most overlooked signs that a woman wants to sleep with you is what psychologists call proximity seeking behavior. It's happening all around you every single day. When a woman is attracted to you on a deep level, she'll consistently find reasons to be physically close to you. She'll stand a little closer than necessary in a group conversation. She'll choose to sit next to you even when others are available. She'll accidentally brush your arm or touch your hand while talking. and then she won't pull away. She might lean in when you're speaking, even in a quiet room where she can hear you perfectly fine. These aren't accidents, they're subconscious expressions of desire. Her body is literally trying to close the distance between you two because her mind is already there. In real life, this looks like your female coworker who always finds a reason to come by your desk, or the girl at the gym who keeps ending up on the machine next to yours even though the place is half empty. The psychological principle here is called approach motivation. When we desire something, we instinctively move toward it. So pay attention to how it keeps showing up in your physical space because that's not coincidence, that's desire in motion. If this is already heading different, smash that like button right now and subscribe because what's coming in the next few minutes will completely change how you read women forever. Don't miss it. For the eye contact game, eye contact is one of the most underrated and misread signals in the whole psychology of desire, and getting this right will completely transform how you read women. There are two types of eye contact that signal a deep attraction: the hold and smile, and the look away and look back. Both mean the same thing, but men constantly misinterpret one of them. The look away and look back is the one that confuses guys the most. She glances at you. You catch it. She looks away fast, and most guys think, oh, she's not interested. She looked away. Wrong. That quick look away is actually a sign of nervousness and excitement. Two things that only happen when someone is genuinely attracted. Her brain got overstimulated by the eye contact and broke it, which is a vulnerability signal. The hold and smile is more obvious. She looks eyes with you, holds it a bit longer than normal, and there's a soft smile at the corner of her mouth. That's her giving you a green light. In real life, if you're talking to a woman and you notice her eyes keep finding yours across a room, or she holds your gaze during conversation with a slightly parted lip or raised eyebrow, stop second guessing yourself. That's the psychology of desire showing up on her face in real time. 5. She asks a personal questions. Here's one that most men completely blow past because it seems so casual and innocent. When a woman starts asking you personal questions, especially ones that have nothing to do with the surface level conversation you were having, that's a massive attraction signal. Think about it from a psychological standpoint. People ask questions about things that they're interested in. We don't ask deep questions about things we don't care about. So when a woman pivots from how was your weekend to wait, so what do you actually want in life? Or do you think you'd ever want to get married? She's not just making a small talk, she's building a psychological map of who you are because she's already emotionally invested. She wants to know if you two are compatible because she's already imagining a future scenario in real life that looks like a woman who remembers small details you mentioned weeks ago and brings them up naturally, or a woman who starts asking about your family, your past relationships, your goals. She's doing emotional due diligence. That's desire operating through conversation. When a woman wants to sleep with you, she wants to connect first, and connection for women runs through emotional intimacy and understanding. So the next time a woman starts going deep in conversation with you, recognize it for what it is. She is opening a door, and whether you walk through it is entirely up to you. 6. Mirroring your behavior. There's a fascinating psychological phenomenon called behavioral mirroring, and it's one of the clearest subconscious signs that a woman is deeply attracted to you. Yet almost no guy ever notices it happening. When someone is attracted to another person, their brain automatically starts to mirror the other person's body language, speech patterns, and even energy level. It's completely unconscious. She's not choosing to do it. It's her nervous system syncing with yours because her brain has already decided it wants to be close to you. In real life, this looks like you lean back in your chair, she leans back too. You start talking slower, she slows her speech down. You laugh, she laughs. Even when something wasn't that funny, you use a specific word or phrase, and a few minutes later, she is using the same word. You cross your arms, she crosses hers. These ain't coincidences, they're neurological responses to attraction. Psychologists actually study this as a measure of rapport and romantic interest, and studies show that the more a person mirrors you, the deeper their interest. So start paying attention to whether the woman you're talking to is physically in sync with you. If she's consistently moving the way you move, matching your tone and reflecting your energy, her body is telling you something her words ain't said yet. Which sign shock you the most? And has a woman ever done this to you without you realizing it at the time? 7. She touches you casually. Let's talk about touch because in the psychology of desire, physical touch is one of the most direct and undeniable signals, and yet men dismiss it as just friendly all the time. Here's the truth: women are very conscious of who they allow into their physical space. They're not randomly touching people. When a woman touches you, even in small, seemingly insignificant ways, it is intentional on some level, even if she is not fully aware of it consciously. She'll touch your arm while making a point in conversation. She'll fix your collar or brush something off your shoulder. She'll playfully push you when you say something funny. She'll accidentally let her leg rest against yours and not move it. She might hug you just a little longer than she hugs everyone else. All of these are what psychologists call initiating touch. She is testing the waters of physical contact because her desire is pushing her toward closeness. In real life, the key thing to watch for is whether the touch is repeated and whether she lingers. A one-time accidental brush is nothing, but if a woman keeps finding reasons to make physical contact with you and she never seems to pull away quickly, that's her desire expressing itself through her hands. Touch is intimacy's first language, and she's already started the conversation. 8. She finds reasons to keep talking. There's one is so simple that it almost sounds too obvious, but it's one of the most reliable psychological signs of desire, and men constantly rationalize it away. When a woman is attracted to you and wants to sleep with you, she'll find every excuse in the world to keep the conversation going. The conversation will be ending naturally. You both cover the topic. There's a pause, and instead of letting it close, she'll pivot. She'll say, "Oh, wait, that reminds me of something," or she'll suddenly remember a question she wanted to ask you. She'll laugh at something and then build a whole new thread of it just to keep you talking. She'll text you a follow-up to a conversation you already finished. She'll send you a meme or a video that's only vaguely related to something you discussed, just to have a reason to reach out. Psychologically, this is called a conversation prolonged behavior, and it's driven by the brain's dopamine response. When we're attracted to someone, being in conversation with them produces a mild dopamine hit, and we wanna keep that feeling going. In real life, if you notice that a conversation with a certain woman never seem to end naturally, that you always walk away wondering, how did we end up talking for 2 hours? She's hooked. She doesn't wanna stop because stopping means losing the feeling you give her. 9. She gets nervous around you. Here's a one that completely messes with men's heads. Nervousness. Most guys see nervousness as a bad sign, like she's uncomfortable around you or doesn't like you, but in the psychology of attraction and desire, nervousness is actually one of the most powerful green lights you can get. When a woman is nervous around you, specifically not in a scared way but in a fluttery, hidden way, it means her emotions are activated. She cares about the impression she's making. She is afraid of saying the wrong thing. She is hyper aware of how she looks and sounds. None of that happens with someone you're indifferent toward. It only happens when someone matters to you. In real life, this looks like she stumbles over her words when talking to you. She laughs a little too loud. She touches her hair or her neck frequently, which is a documented self-soothing gesture that happens when someone is both excited and slightly anxious. She fidgets, she types faster than usual, or suddenly goes quiet when you wake up. These are all psychological responses to attraction. Her Adrenaline is slightly elevated because you're triggering her nervous system. As a practical takeaway, when you notice a woman getting flustered in your presence, specifically, don't interpret that as a rejection. Interpret it as evidence that you have an effect on her, and that effect is desire. Be honest, how many of these signs did a woman show you that you completely ignored, thinking she wasn't interested? 10. She remembers everything. Pay close attention to this one because it's one of the most emotionally significant signs, and people consistently undervalue it. When a woman is attracted to you and has desire for you, she pays attention to you on a level that most people don't experience in casual interactions. She listens to what you say with a different kind of focus, an invested focus, and because she is genuinely engaged and emotionally connected to the interaction. She remembers that you mentioned your dog's name in a passing 3 weeks ago. She remembers that you said you were serious about a work project and she follows up. She remembers your coffee order, the name of your favorite movie, the city your mom grew up in, things you mentioned once casually in a way that made you think she probably wasn't even listening. She was listening. She was cataloging. Psychologically, memory is tied to emotional salience. We remember things that are emotionally significant to us. When a woman is building detailed memories of your conversations, it means you're emotionally significant to her. In real life, if a woman brings up something you said weeks or months ago that you barely remember saying, that's not just a good memory, that's a desire paying attention. She is investing cognitive resources in you, and that's one of the clearest signs that her feelings go way deeper than friendship. 11. She gets a little jealous. Jealousy is a fascinating emotional signal, and in the context of the psychology of desire, is one of the most telling reactions a woman can have, even when she tries to hide it. Here's the thing, you don't get jealous over people you're indifferent to. Jealousy only shows up when there's a perceived threat to something you want to feel connected to. So when a woman reacts with even subtle jealousy when another woman talks to you, or when you mention spending time with a female friend, that's her desire and emotional investment breaking through the surface. In real life, it doesn't always look like a dramatic reaction. It can be very subtle. She gets a little quieter when you mention another woman. Her energy shifts when an attractive girl enters the picture. She asks, so who's she? With a tone that sounds casual but carries a little edge. She makes a comment that's playful but slightly pointed. Oh, so you hang out with her a lot. These micro reactions are her desire speaking the language of vulnerability. She can't fully control it because it's an emotion, not a decision. As a practical tool in real life, if you wanna engage a woman's interest level, pay attention to how she reacts when your attention shifts to someone else. A woman who doesn't care will barely notice. A woman who wants you will feel it, and if you watch closely, you'll see it on her face. 12. She dresses up when she knows she'll see you. This is one of the most practical real-world signs you'll ever get, and it's staring you in the face every single time. You just haven't been paying attention to it. When a woman puts extra effort into how she looks, specifically because she knows she's gonna see you, that's a direct, unambiguous signal from the psychology of desire. That's why effort in appearance is effort in impression management. She wants to look good for you. She's aware of your perception of her, which means she is emotionally invested in what you think. In real life, this looks like you run into a female parent in casual settings, and she's always put together when she knows you'll be around, but you've seen her at random times looking completely different. She shows up to a low-key hangout wearing something noticeably nicer than the occasion calls for. She changes outfits before meeting up with you. She just happened to do her hair and wear her favorite perfume on a Wednesday afternoon when you're meeting to study or work on something casual. Psychologically, this connects to what researchers call mid-value signaling. She is presenting her best self because she is competing for your attention and approval, even if she ain't admitted it to herself yet. When a woman consistently looks her best around you, specifically you're the reason. Take that seriously. Drop a comment below and tell me which one of these signs have you completely messed with a woman. Be honest, and if you know a guy who needs to hear this, share this video with him right now. It might change everything for him. 13. She initiates contact in the psychology of desire. Initiation is everything because initiation requires vulnerability. When someone initiates contact, they're taking a risk. They're saying, I'm willing to reach out first because the reward of connecting with you is worth the risk of looking eager. That's a significant emotional action, and women know it. So when a woman consistently initiates contact with you, not just responding to your text, but actually reaching out first, she is showing you something real. She is showing you that you're on her mind even when you're not around. In real life, this looks like she texts you first about nothing specific, just to check in or share something funny. She calls you when she didn't have a concrete reason to. She slides into your DMs with a reaction to your story. She tags you in a post that reminded her of you. She's the one saying we should hang out before you get a chance to. Each of these acts of initiation is a small emotional investment, and they add up to a clear picture. She's thinking about you, she wants your attention, and she's willing to make the first move to get it. Most men either don't notice this or take it for granted. Don't. A woman who initiates is a woman who desires, and that's one of the rarest and most valuable signals you'll ever receive. 14. She opens up emotionally. Here's a deep psychological truth that most people don't fully understand. Emotional vulnerability is intimacy, and for women, especially intimacy and desire, are deeply connected. When a woman starts sharing things with you that she doesn't share with just anyone, her fears, her past experiences, things that hurt her, things she hopes for, she is not just having a conversation, she is letting you in. She is choosing to be emotionally naked with you, and that's an act of enormous trust and desire. In real life, this looks like she tells you about her family dynamics or a painful experience she is carried. She opens up about insecurities she normally hides. She tells you about a past relationship and what it really did to her. She shares a dream that feels too fragile to say out loud to most people. She cries in front of you without apologizing for it. These moments aren't casual, they're deliberate emotional exposures. Even if they feel spontaneous, psychologically, vulnerability creates bonding through a neurochemical response. When we share something deeply personal with someone and they receive it with warmth, oxytocin is released, which is the same bonding chemical connected to physical intimacy. So when a woman is consistently opening up to you emotionally, she is building a bridge between emotional connection and physical desire. She is not just sharing, she is inviting you into a space where desire can fully live. 15. Now that you have all 15 signs laid out with the psychology behind each one, here's the most important thing I want you to take away from this. A desire is never announced, it's expressed subtly, consistently through behavior. Women communicate attraction through proximity, through touch, through eye contact, through questions, through memory, through vulnerability, through initiation. And if you ate when fluent in that language, you've been missing entire conversations that were happening right in front of you. But here's the good news. Awareness is the first step to everything. Now that you know what to look for, you can unsee it. You'll start noticing these signals in your real life interaction, at work, in your social circle, and the women you're already talking to, and you realize that the psychology of desire has been playing out around you the whole time. The practical takeaway for your daily life is this. Stop waiting for a woman to say the words and start reading the full picture she is painting with her behavior, because what a woman does consistently, especially when she doesn't have to, is the truest expression of how she feels. If this video gave you real value today, do yourself a favor and share it with a friend who needs to hear this, and drop a comment below telling me which sign you've experienced that you completely missed before. I read every single comment and I genuinely wanna hear your story. Thank you for watching the whole video. See you there.